I want you to picture a scene. It's late, maybe 11:30 at night. You're sitting in your bedroom, and the room is just a little too dark.
Mm-hmm.
The only light is that cool bluish glow coming from the small rectangle in your hand. You're just staring at a screen. There's a cursor, and it is blinking. Blink, blink,
Yeah,
blink.
no.
You are currently stuck in a very specific, very high-stakes location. I like to call texting limbo.
It is a very specific kind of modern purgatory, isn't
Oh,
it?
it's the absolute worst. You see those three little dots appear, the bubbling ellipsis that means they're typing,
Yeah.
and your heart actually skips a beat. You hold your breath, then they disappear. Nothing. And you're just left sitting there in the dark wondering, did I say too much? Did I not say enough? Are they rewriting a declaration of love, or do they just get distracted by a TikTok and forget I exist?
That right there, that is the paralysis of the digital age. We
Yeah.
treat this channel of communication, which is, it's designed to be instant and effortless,
Right.
like a high-stakes chess match where nobody gave us the rule book.
That is exactly what we are digging into today. We tend to view texting, especially in those, fragile early stages of dating, as this minefield where one wrong move blows the whole thing up.
Yeah, it feels like a chore.
It does. It feels like a chore or a test you didn't study for.
Yeah.
But looking at the deep stack of research, psychology, and behavioral notes we have to this deep dive, the consensus is that it really doesn't have to be that way.
No, and frankly, if it feels that way, if it feels like a bomb disposal operation, you're probably doing it wrong.
Right.
The goal of this deep dive isn't just to help you, get a reply. That's too low of a bar. We want to look at the psychology behind attraction, dopamine, and anticipation. We want to transform texting from a source of anxiety into a genuine form of art.
The art of the digital spark.
Oh.
Love that concept. So the mission today is to figure out how to make you the person whose name pops up on their screen and gives them a legitimate physiological dopamine hit.
Exactly.
We're moving beyond you up and into actual strategy.
And strategy is the right word, because when you look at the dynamics of attraction, and we're drawing from behavioral psychology here, it's rarely about the raw information you convey. It's about the feeling you create.
Okay.
And that starts with breaking the default patterns we all fall into.
Okay, let's unpack default patterns, because I think I'm guilty of this, and I think most people listening probably are too. We all know the standard opener. It's the dreaded, hey.
The hey trap. It is the absolute killer of romance.
But why? It's polite, it's safe, it's acknowledging the other person exists. Why does the research hate hey so much?
Because it's lazy. From a psychological standpoint, a generic hey or what's up shifts all the cognitive load onto the receiver.
Cognitive load, that's a term we see a lot in UX design. But break that down for us in a dating context.
Okay, think of a conversation like a backpack. When you send a text, you are handing someone that backpack. If you say, hey, the backpack is empty, you are essentially standing there saying, I want your attention, but I'm not willing to put in the effort to start a conversation. You entertain me. You fill the backpack.
Oof. Put that way, it sounds incredibly selfish.
It is, unintentionally. It kills momentum before it even starts because it's so mundane. It forces the other person to do all the heavy lifting of figuring out, why you texted and what to talk about. It feels like work.
So how do we fix this? The source material suggests something called a pattern interrupt. This sounds like a sales technique or, a magic trick.
It kind of does. It comes from neuro-linguistic programming, but it applies perfectly here. Most people are just following a script. Hey, what's up?
Not much, you.
It's autopilot. It's sleepwalking. To build attraction, you have to derail that train. You have to wake them up.
Okay, so give me the scenario. I get the boring, hey. My instinct, my trained social instinct, is to say, hey back. What do I do instead to interrupt that pattern?
You flip the table. Instead of replying, not much you send back something like, hey, let's skip the small talk, shall we?
Wow. Let's skip the small talk.
Yeah.
That feels a little aggressive. Is that too risky?
It feels risky because you're breaking that social script. We're trained to be polite and, boring.
Yeah.
But think about what that text signals. It signals confidence. It signals that you value your time and their time. But more importantly, it shifts the burden back to them in a playful way.
You're basically saying, I know you're more interesting than this, so, show me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You are inviting them to impress you. It creates immediate intrigue. Suddenly, they aren't just autopilot texting. They actually have to wake up. They think, oh, okay, this person wants substance. This person is different.
It forces them to be present. It takes them out of that swiping mentality and into a connecting mentality.
It creates what we call high-value tension.
Uh-huh.
The conversation instantly moves from filler, something I do while I'm bored waiting for the bus, to
Oh,
thriller. They want to see where this goes.
I like that distinction. Filler versus thriller. Now, let's say you've done that. You've established you aren't a boring bot. You have to keep that momentum going. And this is where the medium of texting actually gives you a huge advantage over talking face-to-face, which I think people forget.
They really do. We romanticize the face-to-face, but face-to-face is high pressure. You have to react in real time. If you get nervous, you stutter, you blush, you say something awkward.
Mm-hmm.
But text is curated.
You can draft, delete, rewrite, polish. You can be the coolest, wittiest, most charming version of yourself.
You can curate your persona. And this leads us to a core concept in attraction: mystery. In an age of oversharing, where we post our breakfast and our location 24/7, mystery is a scarce resource.
That's so true. We tend to just vomit information because we want them to know us. We want them to know we're cool, we have hobbies, we have opinions.
Right. But you don't want to hand them the encyclopedia of your life in the first 10 minutes. You want to feed them chapters. If you give them the whole book, why would they turn the page?
The sources mentioned a specific game for this. 2 truths and a lie. Now, I haven't played this since college orientation sitting in a circle of folding chairs. Why is this specific game so effective in a romantic texting context?
Well, it's a classic for a reason. It solves the problem of, how do I share cool things about myself without bragging?
Ah, okay. So instead of just listing your accomplishments like a resume, you gamify it.
Exactly. You text something like, want to play 2 truths and a lie. You go first. It accomplishes 3 things. 1, it's interactive. 2, it lets you drop interesting facts, like, I once climbed Kilimanjaro, without sounding arrogant because, hey, it might be the lie.
And 3.
3, it forces them to analyze you. They have to think about who you are to guess the lie. They're spending mental energy on you.
That's that cognitive load working in your favor this time. They are studying you.
Precisely. It sets up this idea of unraveling. Think of your personality like layers. If you show all the layers immediately, there's nothing left to discover. But if you keep things under wraps, as the research suggests, you build a narrative.
It's the difference between watching a movie trailer that creates suspense versus reading the plot summary on Wikipedia. You want them hooked on the process of getting to know you.
You want to be a puzzle they are eager to solve. That is what keeps them checking their phone.
So we have boldness with the pattern interrupt. We have mystery with the curation. Now we need to talk about the vibe, the energy. Because if you're mysterious but boring, that's just confusing. We need to talk about the dance of banter.
Banter is the filter. It is the difference between a platonic acquaintance, someone you discuss the weather with, and a romantic prospect. Banter creates tension.
And the sources highlight teasing as a major component here. But I have to play devil's advocate. This is where people get it wrong, right? There is a very fine line between teasing and just being a jerk.
A huge difference, and it's where a lot of that old pickup artist advice goes so wrong. They confuse teasing with negging, insulting someone to lower their self-esteem.
Right.
That is toxic, and that is not what we are talking about here.
Good distinction. So what is the goal then?
The goal is playful tension, not insecurity. You want to inject fun. A well-timed joke or a clever remark makes the text memorable. But the safety valve, the way you ensure you aren't just being mean, is often self-deprecation.
Poking fun at yourself instead of them.
Yes. It's incredibly disarming. It shows vulnerability, but without weakness.
Give me an example of how that works in practice.
Let's say you're trying to set up a date, and you suggest a fancy place, and then you realize you can't pronounce the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of hiding that, you lean in. You say, I'd love to take you to a restaurant name, though I will definitely embarrass myself trying to pronounce the menu items. I hope you're prepared to translate.
Okay, I see that. It's funny. It's human. It takes the pressure off.
It signals that you're secure. You don't take yourself too seriously. People who are insecure are terrified of looking silly. People who are confident can own their clumsiness. It makes the other person relax.
It sounds like the goal is to elicit a specific physical reaction.
It is. You want to imagine them standing in line at a coffee shop, totally bored, surrounded by strangers. They look at their phone, read your text, and let out that little laugh. You know the one.
That snort laugh you try to hide, the one that makes other people look at you.
Exactly that one. If you can make them physically smile at their phone in public, you've won. That is the spark. That is chemistry being built remotely.
So keep it light, keep it witty.
Yeah.
But, and here's where it gets really interesting. The sources say you can't keep the fire burning if you smother it.
Ah, yes. The paradox of presence.
This is the hardest part for me, personally. When I like someone, I want to talk to them.
Yeah.
All time.
Of course.
I want to send the meme I just found. I want to tell them about the dog I just saw.
Yeah.
But the sources say that is a strategic error. Why?
Because excitement is heightened by absence, not presence. It's the scarcity principle from economics applied to dating. If gold was covering the streets, it wouldn't be valuable. It's valuable because it's rare.
So flooding the inbox is devaluing your own currency.
Completely. We've all been on one side of this or the other. You send a text, no reply. You wait 20 minutes, the anxiety builds. You send another one. Did you get that? Just checking in.
The double text. Or worse, the triple text of doom.
It screams desperation, and biologically it kills the dopamine loop. Dopamine is driven by the anticipation of a reward, not the reward itself.
Wait, explain that. The anticipation is more important than the actual text.
Yes. Think about Christmas morning as a kid. The most exciting part is seeing the wrapped box and wondering what's inside, shaking it, guessing.
Yeah.
Once it's open, the excitement drops. If you are constantly texting, there is no wrapped box. There is no mystery. You are an open book lying on the floor.
So you have to give them a chance to miss you.
You have to let them miss your virtual company. That silence, that empty space between texts, that is a canvas. That is where they project their interest onto you, start thinking, I wonder where they are. What are they doing? Who are they with?
That mental energy they're spending on you is crucial. They're effectively investing in you.
Exactly. If you occupy 100% of the airtime, they have no room to wonder. You need strategic space.
That sounds so much better than ignoring them.
It's not ignoring. Ignoring is malicious. It's a game. Strategic space is just having a life. It signals, I am a busy, complete person with hobbies and friends, and I am choosing to make time for you. That is a compliment. I am sitting by the phone waiting for you is a burden.
Okay, so step back from the phone, put it down, let it breathe. But when you do come back, you need to bring the goods. We can't just go back to hey after a strategic silence.
No. When you re-engage, you need depth and texture. You need to maximize the interaction.
This brings us to the open door concept regarding questions. The difference between closed questions and open questions. This seems simple, almost like journalism 101, but we mess it up constantly in dating.
We do. A closed question is anything that can be answered with a yes or no. Did you have a good day?
Yes. End of conversation. It's a total dead end.
It forces the other person to do the work to keep the conversation alive. If they just say yes, now you have to think of another topic. You want to ask questions that invite them to share pieces of themselves. Instead of, did you have a good day? Try, what was the highlight of your day? Or what's the weirdest thing that happened to you today?
It's such a small tweak. But highlight or weirdest thing forces a story.
It invites a narrative. It shows genuine interest in their internal world, not just their schedule. And it keeps the flow effortless because now they are talking about something specific that happened to them. People love talking about themselves if you give them the right prompt.
And it's not just about asking them questions, right? It's about inviting them into your world, too. The sources talk about sharing exciting updates. But I worry, doesn't this conflict with the don't brag rule?
It depends on what you consider exciting. Exciting doesn't have to mean you just won an Oscar or bought a Ferrari. In fact, perfection is kind of boring.
Right. The example in the notes was a cooking epic fail. I loved this because it's so relatable.
I love that example. Say you tried to make a souffle and it collapsed into a sad, flat pancake. Sharing that isn't bragging, it's vulnerability, it's funny, it's a story.
You won't believe the crime scene I just created in this kitchen.
Exactly. Whether it's a funny mishap or a small win, like finding $1 on the street or winning a local trivia contest, you are creating shared experiences even when you are apart. You are saying, I want you to be a part of my day.
It creates intimacy without being heavy. It effectively makes them a character in the movie of your life.
That is a beautiful way to put it. You are writing them into your script. You're saying, my day is better because I'm telling you about it.
Now, speaking of scripts and timelines, there are 2 times of day that seem to carry more weight than any other, the bookends, morning and night.
These are the emotional anchor points. Psychologically, being the first thing someone sees when they wake up and the last thing they see before they sleep is powerful real estate in the brain. It utilizes the primacy and recency effects.
Primacy being the first thing, recency being the last. Let's talk about the morning text first. The sources call it a burst of sunshine.
It really sets the tone. A simple text like, good morning, hope your day is off to a great start, does a lot of heavy lifting. It inserts you into their routine immediately.
It's like you're right there having coffee with them. It's a really low-pressure way to say, hey, I'm thinking of you.
But a warning here, and this is crucial, don't become a good morning bot. If you send good morning every single day like clockwork, it becomes background noise, it becomes a utility bill, it loses its potency.
Ah,
Use it, but keep it dynamic. Maybe send a picture of your coffee sometimes, or a specific wish for their big meeting.
got it. Don't automate the romance. And then the night text. This is where you wind down,
Well,
wishing you the sweetest dreams.
this is the intimacy builder. The day is done, the distractions are gone, the boss isn't emailing, the traffic isn't honking. It's just them in the phone.
Right.
If you are the last thing they interact with, you are the most likely thing they will think about as they drift off to sleep.
It sounds a little cheesy when we say sweet dreams out loud, but getting that text, it feels good.
It feels incredibly good. It signals safety and care. It gives them, as the source puts it, butterflies. It's like an emotional blanket.
And it turns the phone chime into a dopamine trigger. You want them to hear that specific vibration and feel a physical wave of, ooh, that's nice.
That is the ultimate goal. You are conditioning a positive emotional response to your presence. You are Pavloving them in the most romantic way possible. You are associating yourself with the feeling of comfort and end-of-day peace.
Okay, so let's zoom out and look at this journey we've charted. Because we've covered a lot of ground. We started in that dark room, paralyzed by the blinking cursor and the hey text,
The anxiety of the blank screen.
and we moved to the confidence of the pattern interrupt. Let's skip the small talk. We learned to take control and set a standard for interesting conversation. Then we started curating mystery with 2 truths and a lie, realizing we don't need to dump our whole biography at once.
We learned to tease, but with kindness, using self-deprecation to make them smile rather than making them insecure.
We faced the hardest part, the silence. We learned to embrace the strategic space and let them miss us instead of double texting out of panic. We learned that the silence is the canvas.
We deepened the connection with open questions, asking for highlights, not just yes or no, and inviting them into our funny little daily disasters.
And finally, we anchored ourselves in their day with those morning and night texts, claiming the prime mental real estate at the beginning and end of the day.
It's a complete shift in mindset. We went from playing defense, trying not to mess up, walking on eggshells, fearing the silence, to playing offense, trying to create delight.
And that really is the shift, isn't it?
Yeah.
Texting shouldn't be this stress test. It shouldn't be an exam. It should be an exciting, flirty experience.
If you aren't having fun sending the text, they probably won't have fun reading it. Emotions are contagious, even digitally. If you are anxious, you send anxious texts. If you are playful, you send playful texts.
So here is the thought we want to leave you with today. It's something to chew on the next time you pick up your phone and see that name on the screen.
We tend to think of communication as transmitting data. I am here. Meet me at 8. How are you? That's utility. That's for coworkers. But in romance, the goal isn't to transmit data. The goal is to create a feeling.
When you hit send, you aren't just sending words. You are crafting an emotional experience for another human being. You are changing their biochemistry for a split second.
So ask yourself, are you sending noise? Are you just filling the silence because you're bored or nervous? Or are you sending a spark?
Be the spark. Thanks for diving in with us.
See you next time.